Big thanks to Michael Eyre for his insight on the back pitch. Over the next few weeks, hopefully we'll have a few more third and fourth teamers sharing their insight. Next up, we have another big supporter of the club and current over 40s captain, Dave Atkin, as he reminisces over his time in the first team as well as his current time playing in the over 40s. Over to you, Dave.
Hi everyone, hope you're all healthy and safe and enjoying the lovely weather that we're having at the moment, even though we can't get outside and play any cricket, unfortunately. Real pleasure to be asked by Andy to do this. I was hoping for some kind of interactive Zoom conversation type situation, but apparently you just talk to yourself for 5 minutes and then he does the rest. So I'm just going to get straight on with it. The best player I've played with. It's a tough one, this, because there's been some really fantastic players at Bourton Hall over the years. But I'm going to go back to sort of mid-90s, early 90s when I first started sort of playing for the Ones. Tommy's already mentioned Steve Wonke, who was around then. And I'm going to go for his Antipodean partner in crime, Jeff Foley. Fantastic batsman, really good bowler, excellent in the field. And for an Aussie, he was quite a nice bloke as well. So Jeff Foley gets my vote for that one. Best player I've played against. Again, tough one. Played against a lot of really competitive cricketers in Liverpool competition, the Cheshire League. Think about players that were really tough to get out. Guys like Ian Wigglesworth at Macclesfield, Johnny Gray, Bowden, Jeff Maynard at Nantwich, and then more recently people like James Duffy at Hyde, really top quality players. I'm going to go for, though, John Bean. He hit the ball so hard and was a really good short leg fielder as well, actually. And unfortunately, we were on the receiving end of his 200 not out at Chester, which I think remains a county league record. So John Bean gets my nod there. Biggest six hitter, Bourton Hall. Loads have been mentioned already. Ollie Law. It's at Miles, obviously. Andy Metcalf as well. Warren, so that's a big ball. Dicko. And then thinking about the over 40s for a minute, Ian Martin, it's a long way. And Raj Kumar tries to hit every ball for six, but certainly the first ball of the innings out of the ground. And I saw Rob Morris hit one at Oldley Edge a few years back playing for the Twos. Hit it over the pavilion and almost over the houses behind the pavilion. Massive hit. But I'm going to plump for another Metcalf for this one. Barry, he used to hit some big bombs and flat ones over extra cover for six into the canal. So he gets my nomination here. Best catch, going to go with over 40s, generally because every catch is an event in the over 40s. And Chris Baker caught one a couple of years ago, mid-off. Someone drilled the ball at him and he ran at it. Didn't realise how quick it was coming at him, really, and just before it took his head off, he managed to get into a position and caught it rather than it causing him some serious injury. So that sticks in the mind. Biggest joker. So one half of this pairing has been mentioned already. Eddie Roberts, a very mischievous young man, and although he's not now, he's an over 40, he's a blazer now, good lad. But together with his brother, they were particularly naughty. So I'm going to give this to Eddie and Andy Roberts as a duo. Worst trainer. Generally don't like training in the over 40s. Few of us do a bit of winter netting and stuff, but are very reluctant in that department these days. One particular person who's very reluctant is Dill. And why would you train when you could just give Liam throwdowns? So fair play to him. Most unorganised. Going back a fair while here, but back in his younger days, Griff, he might still be organised now, but he didn't generally have a lot of stuff. He'd always be asking to borrow your helmet or a thigh pad or a pair of socks or whatever. And not because he'd forgotten them, he just didn't own any of that. So sorry Griff, you get that one for me. Always late. Few candidates there. Griff again. Jack Yates was late quite a lot. I remember him jumping over the fence, putting his whites on half an hour into a game once. And then of the over 40s, Seamus was late quite a lot, playing a lot of golf or, important business meetings or whatever. But I'm going to give this one to Ian Martin from the over 40s, perpetually late. We'll text you who's going to be late, and then we'll be even later than that, which, when you're starting at 6 o'clock isn't ideal, really. Most bizarre thing I've seen on a cricket pitch playing for Boughton Hall. Again, playing with the Blazers, something bizarre happens every single week. But I think the most bizarre thing I've seen is Damon Curtis turning a 1 into a 4. So he was down at fine leg, and the ball trickled to him for a single. Instead of lobbing it back to the wicketkeeper, he somehow managed to throw it behind himself for a boundary, which was utterly ridiculous. So he gets my vote for that one. Biggest diva. Generally fairly well behaved in this department in the Blazers, the over 40s, but there's one guy that kind of changed the dynamic in the changing room a little bit when I was still playing the ones, and that was Warren. There was more product around, and it was important how you looked when you finished the game and what you wore and all that kind of stuff, and that hadn't really been a consideration for any of us before that. So Warren's gonna get my nomination there for just changing the dynamic a little bit. Past or present, who you'd like to spend another season playing with? Thinking about Wunks and Foles again. Either one of those would be awesome. Someone who bowled genuine pace, bowling at the other end from them. Someone like Josh, probably. Be nice to have a season of that, or a real character like Rolo. But I'm going to go for Alex Milky Bar here. I think in his prime he would have been a brilliant guy to share a dressing room with, whacking it everywhere at the top of the order and bowling his little wobbly seamers. So yeah, Milky gets my nod there. And lastly, best game I've played in for Boughton Hall. So again, going back to mid-90s, 96 I think it was. Echo knockout against Sefton away at Sefton Park. Really compact little ground, but it's just an amazing game. 2 lots of 20 overs, as is still the case with the Echo. And Wonky and Foley just went berserk. They scored over 200, I think, in the first innings. And then coming into the fourth innings, which is Sefton batting second, they needed 280, I think, to win the game or something like that. It just blew them away. Wonks got 130 odd in the second lot of 20 overs for us, I think. So that sticks long in the memory, and what a brilliant time to be playing in the first team then. So that's it. That's me. Stay safe, stay well. Hopefully see you on the pitch or for a pint soon, fingers crossed. And look after yourselves. Take care. Cheers. Bye.